Welcome to the Enchanted Ears podcast,
where we discuss anything and everything Disney.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Joe, and on today's episode, we are taking a deep dive into the new Lightning Lane Premier Pass. I think I got that right. There's too many Lightning Lane passes here.
So many letters, so many words. Some of them are the same.
Yeah, there's now we have...
We've got alliteration going on, yeah.
We now have multi-pass. We have... I don't know. I think it's just single pass. I think when you buy the individual ones.
I don't even pretend to know anymore.
And this week, Disney announced the Premier Pass at both Walt Disney World and Disneyland. So that's kind of the big piece of news this week. And we thought we would kind of jump into it. What it is, what it covers. The cost of it has been kind of the big story. And I think I'm probably one of the few people, at least I've seen, that's kind of on the other side of this, that I don't think it's that unreasonably priced. It's definitely expensive, but I think when you look at what you get for it, and I think how they kind of priced it compared to the existing offerings they have, and like what Universal does, things like that, I don't think it's that far out of the realm here.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. And I mean, I do think that, again, you kind of bring an interesting view of it because you break down the finances of it. I mean, it is something that you do. So,
yeah,
I think that it's a good way of sort of putting things a little bit in perspective. I'm looking forward to breaking it down.
Yeah, and so let's get into this. So if you have not heard, the Premier Pass, it's a new service. Disney has had something like this for a few years at Disneyland Paris.
Yes.
When we went a few years ago, they had this. I loved it when we were at Disneyland Paris, and we'll kind of get into why I liked it, and I think that kind of plays into who this pass might be for stateside. So they've had something like this. They've kind of tested it out. They're bringing it stateside. What it is you get to ride. It's every Lightning Lane attraction. So that is all of the ones on the multi-pass, which is kind of like the old fast pass. You can pick 3 before you go, plus all the ones you can pay individually for. You get to ride every one of those attractions within one park at Walt Disney World. Disneyland covers both parks, but at Disney World, it's one park a day, one time. The benefit of it is it's anytime you want. So you do not have to plan like with the old Fast Pass or with the current multi-pass. Okay, I'm going to ride Flight of Passage. There's no times available until 4 in the afternoon, so I got to wait till 4 in the afternoon. This is, hey, I want to go ride Flight of Passage at noon. That you just walk in line.
I'm walking by Flight of Passage. That's what I want to ride.
Exactly. You can do that once through the Lightning Lane. So what this will cost, because obviously it's Disney, it's gonna cost you money. At Walt Disney World, it varies depending on the park and obviously the time of year, how busy it is. But the prices that Disney has quoted, it is going to be $129 to $199 at Animal Kingdom. Disney World has tax on top of this, so these are all before tax. $169 to $249 at Epcot. $269 to $349 at Hollywood Studios, and then $329 to $449 at Magic Kingdom.
And the other little catch to this is that you have to be at one of the deluxe hotels, so that does severely limit the people that can actually purchase this.
Correct. And so these start on October 30th down at Walt Disney World. You're able to buy them 7 days before. Same with kind of like the multi-pass, where you can buy them a week before if you're staying at a deluxe hotel, except for the first day. So the day it starts on the 30th, you won't be able to buy those in advance. But every day after that, it is 7 days after.
It's so weird because then on the 30th, you have to wait till the day of. But if you're going on Halloween on the 31st, you can buy it a week in advance.
Right, exactly.
So it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, and then over at Disneyland, they are starting October 23rd. These are 2 days in advance, and this is for anybody. So you do not have to be staying at a Disney hotel there. They mentioned that it's going to be extremely limited quantity, so I don't think they're going to sell a lot of these, but they go on sale 2 days in advance. They're going to be $400 through the end of 2024. And then in 2025, it is going to be variable pricing between $300 and $400. The difference at Disneyland, besides the fact that anybody can kind of purchase these, you don't have to be staying at a Disney hotel, is the fact that this covers both parks. So this covers Disneyland and Disney California adventure over there as well. So a little bit cheaper, $300 to $400. I mean, that's cheaper than the highest priced one, because the highest priced stay at Magic Kingdom is $449. So you get both parks over at Disneyland, or at Walt Disney World, you only get one park. So I think the first thing is kind of at Walt Disney World, the fact that it's at a deluxe hotel only. And I think, a lot of people are going, oh, why isn't this available to everybody? This is kind of limiting. Universal, they have an express pass. If you stay at a deluxe hotel, you get it for free. You don't have to pay any extra for it. I actually think that this is a good sign. And I actually think that fans of the theme park should be happy that it does seem like Disney is limiting this and not making it available to so many people. Because the problem with Fast Pass and the problem with Lightning Lane is the more people in those Lightning Lane lines, the longer the standby lines are, because they take 99 people to 1 or something like that. Like, it's a crazy ratio of the people they take in Lightning Lane. So I think if they made this available to everybody, or they gave everybody at a deluxe hotel this for free, it would kind of defeat the purpose. Like, it would just make the standby lines worse. I actually think it's better, and I actually think it's better that it's a little bit more expensive too, because it means it's less likely people are going to use it, which I think is just going to be helpful, because the lines are already kind of crazy enough whenever they can say, all right, the 12 to 1 o'clock hour is booked. We can't take any more Lightning Lane people. But with this, you could just walk up at 12 to 1 o'clock whenever that's a crowded time. And so if people could just go whenever they want, you have a lot of people doing that. That's really going to, I think, would hurt the flow of line management that Disney has, and just kind of making sure that like one line doesn't get too crowded. So I actually think it's a good thing that they are limiting who can get this and over at Disneyland. It sounds like they're going to limit how many they're going to sell.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so just to play the devil's advocate here, though, you could say, well, yes, they obviously need to limit those quantities, but why not open them up to anyone? And so I think that there's definitely that argument there of, well, why do you have to be staying at that deluxe hotel in order to do it? So, I mean, yes, it is good that they're limiting the number of passes that they have, but who they're making them available to does kind of is putting a negative like flavor in people's mouths.
So 2 things, maybe 3 things. Conspiracy theorist me thinks, well, the day after this, Universal Studios happened to announce a brand new theme park's going to be opening Memorial Day weekend next year. And I'm sure Disney's going, well, bookings aren't looking too good for Florida, so we need to make sure anybody who comes down here is incentivized to stay at the most expensive hotels possible. So we're going to give you, if you want this awesome new Premier Pass, you have to stay at the deluxe hotel. And then 2, in a couple years, when bookings are light, maybe not a lot of people are going to the parks, they can go, hey, we have a great new benefit for all on-property guests. You have access to purchase the Premier Lightning Lane Pass. So that's kind of conspiracy theorist me.
They can kind of tailor it however they want in order to try to attract more people to come.
Exactly.
And they can use it as another way to give a discount, essentially. Like,
well, not
like
a discount.
A perk of some sort.
Exactly. They can make it seem like you paying them more money is a perk for you to stay at their hotel. I think the third thing is, I think, the messaging, and I think the underlying kind of notion with this is not something that it for the overall population that goes to Walt Disney World. This is kind of a step in between VIP tours and your regular lightning lanes. And VIP tours are extremely expensive. It's a very small group of people that do that. Disney really does not advertise those too much. This is kind of like a step in between that. Like, you want something a little bit more than lightning lanes, but you don't want to pay for the full VIP tour. And again, I don't think they want a lot of people doing this. I don't think they think there's a market for a lot of people for this. And so I think doing some of these things just makes it clearer to the average person. Because you got to figure, there's a lot of people, they're planning a Disney World trip, and they're going to go, what's this Premier Pass? Is this something I need to worry about? And as soon as they see, oh, it's only at deluxe resorts, I'm not staying at one of those, then it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. Like, you don't even now have to stress about, well, should I get the Premier Pass versus the multi-pass? Like, it kind of takes that out of the equation a little bit. And I think some of it is for that reason. It makes it clearer messaging to people of like, hey, I'm planning a trip. This just isn't even something I have to think about. In the same way that most people don't even think about VIP tours, because it's not even something you know about or not even something you think about.
Yeah, I do think that is an interesting way of framing it, though, as like a step in between that VIP tour, or like the, just like your lightning lanes and your VIP tours, so that it's not designed for a large portion of people to do, but it is a discounted VIP without all of the extra benefits that come with doing one of those VIP tours.
I mean, a VIP tour is like $600-700 an hour. I think it's a minimum of 7 hours. Now you can have up to 10 people, but you're paying $5,000 for a VIP tour. If you did, if you had 5 people and you bought the most expensive Premier Pass at Magic Kingdom, it's costing you $2,200, and it's like a VIP tour. So let's kind of get into what you get and kind of the pricing model of this. So at Magic Kingdom, there are 20 attractions that are on Lightning Lane. So you get Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight, Space Mountain, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the Barnstormer, Space Ranger Spin, Dumbo, Haunted Mansion, It's a Small World, Mad Tea Party, Magic Carpets of Aladdin, Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Mickey's PhilharMagic, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, Pirates of the Caribbean, Tomorrowland Speedway, Journey of the Little Mermaid, plus you get Mine Train and Tron, which are the individual purchase ones. So all of those attractions you could ride one time. Now, the other thing with this is, like, at Walt Disney World, they have the tiers in the multi-pass. So when you are picking your attractions ahead of time, you can only pick one from the group of Big Thunder Mountain, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight for some reason. I guess because it's a long crowd. That's weird that's in like the special tier.
Yeah.
I think that's just because it's low capacity. Space Mountain and Tiana's. So you can pick one from there and then 2 from the other group. And then once you use at least one, then you can kind of pick from any group. But this, again, tiers aren't an issue. You get one ride on everything there. So that's 20 attractions in total at Magic Kingdom. At Epcot, there are 11 attractions.
So those are Frozen Ever After, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Soarin' Around the World, Disney and Pixar's Short Film Festival, Journey into the Imagination with Figment, Living with the Land, Mission Space, The Seas with Nemo and Friends, Spaceship Earth, and Turtle Talk with Crush. And also Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Right, which is the individual purchase one.
So that, again, I mean, that's the big one there, but we're gonna get into this in a little bit, but you can see like the tiers of rides, or even like some of those rides, like Living with the Land.
Is that why you were laughing?
I was laughing because Living with the Land is 99% of the time it's either a walk on or a 10 to 15 minute wait. I mean, it's always so short. I mean,
it often says 10 minutes, but it's usually like a 2-minute wait.
Yeah, like I think the most we've ever waited is like, I feel like we've waited like 12 minutes for it.
That might be a stretch.
It was a bit of a stretch, but that's why I laughed, because you don't need a fast pass for Living with the Land.
Over at Hollywood Studios, there's 14 attractions, so a couple more than Epcot there. And those attractions are Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, Smuggler's Run, Rock and Roller Coaster, Slinky Dog Dash, Alien Swirling Saucers, the Beauty and the Beast Stage Show, Disney Junior Play and Dance, the Frozen Sing-Along Celebration, the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, Muppet Vision, Star Tours, Tower of Terror, Toy Story Mania, plus Rise of the Resistance is the individual purchase one there. And then wrapping it up over at Animal Kingdom, there are 10 attractions there.
These attractions are Dinosaur, Expedition Everest, Feathered Friends in Flight, Festival of the Lion King, Finding Nemo, It's Tough to Be a Bug, Cali River Rapids, Kilimanjaro Safaris, Navi River Journey, and Flight of Passage. And again, that's a funny list considering that 2 of those rides are going to be going away probably within the next 6 months, or not even. I feel like Tough to Be a Bug is closing really soon.
Yeah, Tough to Be a Bug is closing, and
Dinosaur is closing soonish.
Next year?
We don't know
within the next year. Yeah, so basically there's really going to be, within a year, 8 attractions there. And then Feathered Friends in Flight, I don't know why you need a lightning lane for that one. So
I've never seen that show crowded.
Right. So that has the least one, and that's obviously why, talking about the pricing, Animal Kingdom is the least expensive of these, and it makes sense. So looking at how much Disney kind of quoted as the prices versus how many attractions you get. So if you look at something like Magic Kingdom, $329 to $449. Over 20 attractions at the cheaper end there, it is $16.45 an attraction. At the high end, it is $22.45 an attraction. Epcot ranges between $15 and $22 an attraction. Hollywood Studios is $19 to $25 an attraction. And Animal Kingdom is around $13 to $20. If you take out the 2 attractions they don't have, so if you just went off of 8 attractions, it would be like $16 at the lowest price if you don't count a Dinosaur and It's Tough to Be a Bug.
And then, of course, I mean, your calculations don't also include that some of those rides are really unnecessary to have fast passes
Yeah,
for,
yeah,
too.
and we can kind of talk about that of like, yeah, you can get fast passes on lightning lanes, walk on all these attractions.
Yeah, they're fast passes to me, man.
Yeah, but do you need that? So yeah, this is just like on total. If you rode everything, this is kind of the pricing, because I think this is how Disney kind of came up with the pricing. Because if you look at the current multi-pass system, and again, fast passes used to be free. Totally get that. Hey, why are we paying for something that was free years ago? I think, yes, it would be ideal if we had free fast passes.
It's kind of like Pandora's box at this point. It's like, you
have to compare to what's there. So like, it would be great if it was free, but it's not free.
So the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah,
it's not going to be back in.
Yeah. So we're going to compare to what the current paid multi-pass is. So if you look at, I looked at, because you can look a week ahead. So I looked at Wednesday, October 23rd. At Magic Kingdom, you are paying $29 plus $13 to ride the Mine Train and $21 for Tron. So that is $63 in total. And the multi-pass gets you 3 lightning lanes. That's basically all you're guaranteed, right?
All right, can you break this down for me a little bit? Because so when you're saying it's $29 plus, like, say I'm a fanatic for Mine Train. So is that a 4th attraction that I'm adding, or is that just an upgrade?
No, because Mine Train and Tron are the individual lightning lanes that you pay for separately.
So they are not included in any way, shape, or form in that multi-pass.
So the multi-pass is $29. So the multi-pass gets you 3 attractions. Now, again, you can get more. So after you use one, you can book another one, but it's day of, and who knows what times are going to be available. Maybe you can get 4 or 5 on there. Maybe you can only get 3. So I'm assuming you're going to get 3 attractions. Is basically what you're paying for. So it's $29. So essentially you're paying about $10 an attraction. But then yes, Mine Train and Tron are additional prices, which again are all included in the Premier Pass. So you're paying about $63 total, or about like $12.60 a ride. Epcot, if you would buy the multi-pass and Cosmic Rewind, it works out to about $9.25. Again, assuming you get 4 attractions. Hollywood Studios, Rise of the Resistance is $25 as the add-on. The multi-pass that day is $24, so you're paying about $50 total, or $12.25 a ride. Animal Kingdom, very cheap, paying about $8.25 a ride. So that was a Wednesday. If you look at a Saturday, weekends are obviously more expensive. So Magic Kingdom works out to about just under $14 a ride. Epcot is about $10.50. Hollywood Studios is $13.50, and Animal Kingdom is $8.75. So what I think Disney did is they looked at, hey, what is kind of the assumed value of the current multi-pass? Because again, it seems to be like it's around like $10 an attraction is kind of what they're assuming for those three, and then the add-on one. So if you look at that, the individual attractions, again, you're between, let's say $8 and $14. The Premier Pass is between 13 and 22, so it's an average of like a 50 to 60% markup. So it is a pretty significant markup to it. But again, I think the thing is you get to ride all the attractions. So you potentially could ride 20 attractions in a day, which is insane to ride 20 attractions in a day. Plus you don't have to plan and schedule. So there's some premium to that, to being able to, just walk on any attraction you want, to basically being guaranteed to get more than 3 or 4 attractions that you're guaranteed 3 attractions on multi-pass. You buy Premier Pass, I can guarantee you're going to get more than 3 attractions on there. So it's a 50 to 60% markup. So it is a decent markup, but I think that's kind of how they came with the prices. If it's, $10 an attraction on multi-pass, they're charging you, say, $15 for the Premier Pass. It's just more expensive because they're giving you every attraction. So something like Magic Kingdom that has 20 rides, if they're saying it's $15, $20 an attraction, that's how they get to this $400 price point. So when you look at it like that, it does not, to me, seem that crazy. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, the overall price is a lot. But the fact that if you break it down by attraction, it's somewhat in line. It's not like on the multi-pass, they're $10 and they're charging you $40 an attraction on the Premier Pass, and this thing is $700 or $800. Now, could the curve go up and it end up costing that much? Probably, but I think the multi-pass will go. I think they'll kind of move in lockstep. So it's somewhat in line there. Like, it wasn't as far and above more expensive than just kind of the individual ones. It's just more expensive because there's more attractions. They are charging more, but not, I feel like, a crazy amount more per attraction.
Yeah, so like the pricing is somewhere between like around double what a park ticket is going to cost, which is a lot. I
think it depends, because like if you go a single day, obviously the park tickets are more expensive. I think they're maybe like 110, 120 up to 160 or 170 at Magic Kingdom. So yeah, single day, this is probably like double the price of a Magic Kingdom ticket, maybe not quite double the price of Animal Kingdom. But if you're going multiple days, if you're going 4 or 5 days, that price per ticket drops to maybe $90, something like that, $100 to, even lower. And then, maybe you're talking 3 or 4 times what a ticket costs you.
Disney isn't the first one to do this, though. If you head on over to Universal, they have a ticketing system, like one of these express passes, like I think that's what theirs is called, that is also far more expensive than their park ticket.
Yeah, if you get Universal's express pass, you are paying more than the cost to get into the park. And Universal has this. They have 2 versions. They have one where, again, it's 1 ride per attraction, and they also have an unlimited one where you can ride the attractions as many times as you want, and you can do 1 park or both parks. And you bring up a good point with Universal, because again, kind of looking at how Disney's pricing this, if you look at Universal's express pass, and this is just one park, just 1 ride per attraction, Universal says that ranges between $90 and $290 depending on the day. So pretty wide range. It seems like most of those are kind of in the 100. Like there's a few days there at the 90, but not a ton. So Universal Studios has 14 attractions. So if you look at $90, that works out to about $643 an attraction. At $290, it's $20.71 an attraction. On average, that's about $13.50. Over at Islands of Adventure, there's 2 more attractions. There's 16 attractions there. So that ranges between like $5.60 and $18. It's about $12 on average. I do think, though, so the pricing of $90 to $290, I don't think Islands of Adventure ever goes down to $90. So I think their actual average is probably closer to that $13.50. Like I think they're probably about the same. I think Universal's probably pricing this around, $13, $14. So if you look at it, sure, you could get some days where maybe you're only paying $6 or $7 an attraction, but on average, you're probably going to be paying about $13 up to maybe about $18. What we talked about at Disney, they are between $14 and $15 on the low end to about $20 to $25 on the upper end. So a little bit more than Universal, but kind of in that range. So again, like I think if you look at what you pay at Universal, if you look at kind of how the multi-pass is priced, Disney's kind of in line with what other people are doing there. Over at Disneyland, because you can get all attractions in both parks, there's 24 in total. At $400, it works out to be about $16.67 per ride. If you bought the multi-pass at Disneyland, it starts at least $32 a day, and then Rise of the Resistance and Radiator Springs are individual attractions that you have to pay for. So assuming they are about like what they would be at Disney World, if you bought the multi-pass and Rise and Radiator Springs, it would work out to be about $15 a ride versus like the $17 a ride they're going to charge you. So a much smaller markup at Disneyland. And that's the one thing that I kind of was most fascinated by with this, is that it seems like this is cheaper. Now, again, it's still $300 to $400. It's still a lot of money. But because you get so many more attractions, and because the multi-pass costs more and everything like that over at Disneyland, it seems like it's a better deal. It's a smaller markup over at Disneyland, and it doesn't seem like they've priced it as expensive as they have at Walt Disney World. Now, I don't know how many they're going to sell. I mean, this thing might sell out to, what are they going to do, 100 of these? Like, they could do a really small number and they sell out quickly, but it doesn't seem that outrageous to me over at Disneyland.
Yeah, it kind of, I feel like, goes with who the park audiences are as well. Disneyland, you attract a lot of locals, so maybe they figured that they can't push the price as much because the people they're probably going to be selling this to are going to be people who are coming from out of state to go to Disneyland. I feel like they've been making a little bit more of an effort lately to make Disneyland a little bit more visible in the United States, because I feel like they usually push Disney World a lot, whereas Walt Disney World is the park that a lot of internationals go to. And so it is kind of, getting into that is it almost like, is it worth it conversation? I think that for the majority of normal people, no, it's not. But I think that where this actually does add value is if you are going to take a short trip. If it is a short trip, if it is a trip from, overseas, you're coming from not the United States, or you're coming from the other side, the other coast, or you were contemplating adding an extra day, but instead of doing that, you're going to buy this pass. That's where you might be able to find some value in it. And also it's going to improve your experience because the lines you're waiting in aren't going to be as long.
Yeah, I think Disneyland, is where it makes sense. So kind of getting back to what we talked about earlier, Disneyland Paris, they had this. We bought their premier pass when we went there a couple years ago for one day. I don't remember the exact price. I think it was around $200 a person, like between $150 and $200 a person. We rode that day 13 to 14 attractions between both parks. We basically rode everything we wanted to ride in one day. Now, we went to Disneyland Paris for multiple days, but it was nice because we basically got to ride everything we wanted to ride, didn't wait in line, and then we got to go back and kind of do the highlights again. Yeah,
it took a lot of the pressure off of the experience because we were able to, like you said, kind of get in the things that everything we wanted, and then go back and experience the highlights again, so that the rest of the days, it was a lot more low key, a lot more relaxed, a lot more, if we get to it, we get to it, but we already got to experience it. We're grateful for that. And now we can, just enjoy our day.
Yeah. So that's why I think like Disneyland, it makes sense because again, the price per attraction is lower. And I feel like Disneyland is a park that you're not going to, like Walt Disney World, you can easily go for a week and spend a week down there. And I think if you're spending a week down there, I mean, we've talked about, like, I don't even know that you need the multi-pass if you're there multiple days, because I think you can kind of get every attraction you want to get to. And maybe Magic Kingdom's the only place you'd want it. But like at Disneyland, I could really see this being valuable, especially if you can get it towards that $300 price range, because I think you could eliminate a day of your trip from this. Like, I think this is perfect where if you go and you get this, you can ride everything at both parks that you could possibly want to ride and be done in one day. And so if you went a second day instead of maybe 3 days, and just kind of hit the highlights again. And so looking at it, a 3-day ticket for Disneyland is $417. A 2-day ticket is $330. So you could save $87 by going one less day. Plus you're going to have one less night at a hotel, which is going to be a few $100s. Plus you're going to have one less day of food at the parks. Plus you're going to have one less day of potentially seeing merchandise that you're going to want to buy. So I think you could easily save more than $300 to $400 on this. Now again,
but then per person. No, that's when that adds up.
Right, but I still think it's not that bad, because again, you're going to save $87 a person. Plus, let's say you save $50 a person in food, maybe or maybe not quite that much. Maybe you're saving $120 a person. Plus a hotel stay. If you had a family of 4, you're maybe saving $400 and a couple $100 on a hotel. Again, if you can get it towards the lower end, like, I think I can see this working. I think I can see this making more sense at Disneyland than Walt Disney World.
But here's the hole in your theory, though. Okay. I'm looking at this list of rides that are included, and I'm looking at specifically at the Disney California Adventure Park list. Let me read them to you real quick. Goofy's Sky School, Grizzly River Run, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, Incredicoaster, Little Mermaid, Monsters, Inc., Radiator Springs Racers, Soarin' Around the World, Toy Story Midway Mania, and Web Slingers. What is missing from that list?
Mickey's Wheel of Death.
Yeah, Pixar Pal Around, man. Yeah,
that's not on Lightning Lane. Yeah. That's why.
Well, listen.
But you can wait in line. That's the thing. You won't wait in any other line, so you can wait for that one.
Yeah, well, it's not on that list. The value isn't as good as you thought, because we're going to want to ride those swinging gondolas multiple times with all of our friends. Well, I know that our friends will want to ride with us too.
We can do that. Again, we'll have time to wait in line. So I think Disneyland, I think it makes more sense. I think over at Walt Disney World, for me, I don't know that it makes sense at any park. Maybe Magic Kingdom, maybe Hollywood Studios, because if you look at it, we talked about this. Like, you were laughing, like, Epcot, do you need a lightning lane for Living with the Land? No. Do you need a lightning lane for the Pixar short stories, short films? No. So looking at the list, so we talked about the total attractions, but I think at Epcot there's maybe 3, maybe 4. Like, if Soarin' had a long line, maybe 4 attractions you would need a lightning lane for. So if you did that based on what you pay, you're paying $60 to $80 an attraction if you only ride 3 or 4. At Animal Kingdom, after Dinosaur closes, there's maybe 3 that you would need a lightning lane for. So you're paying $66 an attraction on average. Magic Kingdom, there's probably 10, probably half of those you would need a lightning lane for. So that's $45 a ride at the most expensive day. You could ride all 20 of those attractions. Again, I don't think you'd need a lightning lane necessarily for all 20 of those.
Yeah, like Mickey's Philhart Magic, for example. Yeah. That's usually like you have to wait for the cartoon to be over. But at
least Magic Kingdom, I feel like those are all attractions you would want to ride. Again, like Epcot, we don't go to the short film festival. Like Hollywood Studios, we're not going to the Disney Junior Play and Dance. Like, it's just, there's certain things on there that like don't make sense to be lightning lanes. And I think,
they tossed them on there for added value.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I kind of see now why Disney is trying to build these big attractions at all of the parks, because they do need some bigger attractions. Like, it will help when you have Indiana Jones and Encanto, because that's 2 more attractions that you would want lightning lanes for at Animal Kingdom. A Monsters Inc. coaster at Hollywood Studios, that's another because like Muppets 3D, you don't need a lightning lane for Muppets 3D. I can see why they want to, build this out. Hollywood Studios is the other one where there's probably about 6 attractions. Now, Rise and Smuggler's Run have single rider lines.
But again, if you're going with your family, you're not going to want to split up.
And I feel like every time we go to Hollywood Studios, every line is like 45
packed.
Minutes to an hour. No matter what you do.
I mean, Tower's like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours.
And it doesn't matter whether it's a crowded day, a not crowded day. I feel like every ride's at least 45 minutes to an hour. So that would be one that maybe I could see paying for, just because some reason, like all the attractions seem stacked. Like I feel like you can go to Magic Kingdom, and if Space Mountain's really long, the other side of the park, like Small World or Haunted Mansion, aren't as long. I feel like it's more spread out. I feel like at Hollywood Studios, it's just consistently crowded at every attraction.
So here's my question for you. Would you consider over Marathon Weekend? Now this is an interesting one. We're going to be tired. We have to get up early in the morning. We have to turn in early. Would it be worthwhile for us, theoretically, to purchase this so that we could ride all the rides we want, get out of the parks as soon as possible, and go rest? Or should we just catch our naps on
Carousel Progress?
Yeah, Carousel Progress. My favorite ride to sleep
again,
in.
I think for us, we are fortunate enough to go a lot. We don't get the multi-pass whenever we go, because it's like, if we don't ride it this time, we'll ride it next time.
Yeah. I
don't really see a need to do this. Again, I think the only park where it would make sense is Magic Kingdom, because if you want to do one day where you get 20 plus attractions in, Magic Kingdom's the place to do it. I think Hollywood Studios, I go there, if the lines are long, I just leave. I'll ride the ride next time. I'll do one of them. I'm not waiting for all of them. So for Marathon Weekend, no, I don't think so. I think what is interesting is, because there are going to be all the vloggers, and I'm sure Disney Food Blog, all the people that are in the parks every day, they're going to buy this, and they're going to see what can you actually do in a day. I am curious, because even the lightning lanes, they have some bit of weight. It's not just walking onto the attraction. I mean, you wait a little bit and you have to kind of navigate through the park. So I am curious, okay, there's 20 attractions at Magic Kingdom. Can you ride all 20? Can you ride all 20 and then circle back and get more? I mean, because if you're getting 20 guaranteed attractions, basically, plus you have time to ride another 5 or 6, and you're getting 25, 26 attractions in a day, $300-$400 doesn't sound as crazy, when I feel like the normal average for a good day at a park is 7 to 8 attractions, maybe. So if you're getting 3 times the number of attractions,
your bang for your buck is a lot higher.
Yeah, I think you can start seeing it. I think you might see people talking about, hey, this maybe isn't as crazy. Again, Disneyland and Disney California Adventure, if you're getting 24, 25 attractions guaranteed, and then some more on top of that, Mickey's Fun Wheel, that sort of thing, that becomes a pretty good day. And so I think it'll be interesting to see in practice when this comes out, because it is a hefty price tag. It is expensive, but it'll be interesting to see what you can really get out of the parks with this thing.
And again, how it impacts the weight of the regular line as
right,
well.
Right.
If these are a super limited quality, or maybe they sell a little bit less of the multi-pass because,
No, I think they're going to limit this. I think hopefully they don't go, well, people are really buying this, let's sell more to get more. I think you want them to keep it low so that it doesn't, impact
right
lines.
Yeah,
So.
I'm just wondering if it, where those numbers, where those scales balance, are they adding more or not? More people who are using fast pass.
Right. It'll be interesting to see, in a couple weeks as this kind of gets out in the wild, how this works and how Disney refines it from there. So, but we'd love to hear from our listeners. What are your thoughts on this? Would you be interested in buying a Premier Pass at all? Do you think it makes sense in any of the parks? Let us know on Instagram. We're at Enchanted Ears Podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, just let us know in the comments below. But that wraps up the show for this week. I want to thank everybody again for listening. If you've not done so, please leave us a rating or a review. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. It really helps, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks for lending us your ears.
Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you here next Monday.
Bye-bye.